From a working cattle ranch in colonial Kenya to a trailblazer of conservation innovation, the story of old Pejeta is as enchanting as it is inspirational. Welcome to a world where the rhythm of nature sets the stage for a breathtaking tale of survival, hope, and the relentless commitment to protect our planet's precious wildlife. In this immersive documentary, I invite you to embark on a captivating journey through the heart of Africa, where the Conservancy emerges as a sanctuary of conservation and a haven for some of the most iconic and endangered species on Earth. Join me as I delve into remarkable stories of resilient animals and the delicate balance between humanity and the wild. Nestled in the heart of Kenya, there exists a sanctuary that defied the odds and ignited hope for the world's most endangered species. The Pejeta Conservancy, or as pastoralist communities who lived within the area hundreds of years ago call it the place of burning, is a place in which history, wildlife, and human dedication intersect in a symphony of conservation. At the Pejeta Conservancy, dreams of preserving nature's wonders come to life, with every footstep resonating with the pulse of our planet's future. Pejeta's story began in the 1940s, when it was established as a cattle ranch. In 1988, the land's purpose transformed entirely as it became a wildlife conservancy with a primary focus on safeguarding the endangered species of East Africa. Over the years, it has evolved into a beacon of hope for the species that are committed to their protection and preservation. Extending over 350 square kilometers of mosaic of grass plains, wooded grassland, acacia woodland, and evergreen thickets, the Pejeta Conservancy, the East Africa's largest black rhino sanctuary, is situated at the foothills of the Aberdare and the magnificent snow-capped Mount Kenya. By the way, how can one differentiate between a white rhino and a black one? Your guess? Is it based on the color or size? Well, get the difference between and before we dig deep into the world of rhinos.
So what is the difference between a black and a white rhino? Yes?
The color and the size.
The color and the size. What about the size? Which one is bigger?
The white rhino.
The white rhino. Yes, another one, that's one difference. So the white rhinos are bigger than the black rhinos. Sawa sawa. Another one. Okay, sawa sawa. So size, yes, is one of the difference. And what about the mouth? The mouth of a black rhino is pointed because for them, they eat trees, herbs, those things. And then we have the white rhinos. White rhinos have a wide mouth, like that one of a cow. Sawa sawa. So what does a cow eat? Grass. Yeah, so the white rhino eats the grass. So the mouth of a black rhino is white. And the mouth of a white rhino? White. So the white rhino came from some people from South Africa. They said white. W-I-E-T. For them they meant wide. Then we had white. So they became white rhinos, but for them they meant they were big, they were wide. Okay? Yes. So size, then the mouth. Then you see the black rhinos. Ukiangalia the back, you see this back, it has a curve here at the center and at the middle. Then we have the white rhinos. Yake ikona, we have some like hoops huku hivi. Hapa hivi hivyo. Then we have the white rhinos. Horn yao ina glow ni kama inaenda hivi straight. Then ya huyu kama inaenda hivi, niangalia juu. Sawa sawa. Hawa nao wanapenda kukaa deep in the forest, the black rhinos, because that's where they can get their food. And then the white rhinos watakaa wapi? Yeah, because that's where they can get their food.
Pejeta is home to a stunning array of animals, including the big five: the lions, the elephants, the buffaloes, the leopards, and the rhinos. But its crown jewel is the rare and endangered northern white rhino. These magnificent creatures have found a sanctuary here, protected from the looming threat of extinction. In 2013, Pejeta recorded the birth of the 100th black rhino. This means the Conservancy is now key one black rhino population on the IUCN Africa Rhino Specialist Group categorization, one of the only 8 sanctuaries in Africa with this distinction. Today, Pejeta is the largest black rhino sanctuary in East Africa and home to 2 of the world's last remaining northern white rhinos, Najin and Fatu. Northern white rhino is one of the 5 rhino species still remaining. Closely resembling its southern white cousin, the northern whites were hit particularly hard in the poaching epidemic of the 1980s and the early 1990s, and they are now considered extinct in the wild. On December 20, 2009, Pejeta became home to 4 of the then 7 rhinos left in captivity. 2 males and 2 females were moved from the zoo in the Czech Republic in the hope that the climate and rich grasslands of Pejeta, a native habitat for the animals, will provide them with more favorable breeding conditions in a last chance to survive breeding program. The males, named Sudan and Sunni, and the females, named Fatu and Najin, enjoyed 24-hour armed security and a 70-acre enclosure. Sunni was seen mating with Najin in 2012, but tests have confirmed she is not pregnant. Pejeta is trying to crossbreed the closely related southern white rhinos with the northern whites to preserve the northern white rhino genetics in hybrid offspring, and the ambitious project is bearing fruit. 5 new embryos and new surrogate mothers were recently added to the Northern White Rhino Rescue Project. Using advanced assisted reproductive technology, 29 Northern White Rhino embryos have been created and preserved, ready for future transfer to a surrogate mother. Most recently, in May 2023, 18 eggs were collected from a female Fatu. This resulted in 5 new embryos being created, the highest number of embryos from any collection to date. The biorescue team also made another promising step towards saving the most endangered mammal species on our planet, as they successfully identified and selected 2 wild southern white rhino females as potential surrogate mothers. The biorescue project developed and pioneers advanced assisted reproductive technologies for conservation in the face of the extinction of rhino species and subspecies. Pejeta remains a focal point for those efforts, with the goal of bringing these subspecies back from the brink. On October 17, 2014, one of the 2 male northern white rhinos, Sunni, died from unknown causes. But one story that stands out among the rest is that of Sudan, the last male northern white rhino. Sudan's existence became a symbol of the urgency of protecting these rhinos. Although Sudan passed away in 2018 after suffering from age-related complications, his story lives on as a reminder of the vital work being done to save the northern white rhino from extinction. The skin of Sudan is on display in the National Museum in Prague, Czech Republic. Northern white rhinoceros are guarded 24 hours a day at the Conservancy to protect them from poaching, which is a major problem of rhinos. The protection include horn-embedded transmitters, watchtowers, fences, drones, guard dogs, and trained armed guards around the clock. Apart from the rhinos, the Conservancy is home to Sweetwater's Chimpanzee Sanctuary, the only place in Kenya where chimpanzees can be seen. The sanctuary came to life in 1993 in a negotiated agreement between the Pejeta Conservancy, the Kenya Wildlife Service, and the Jane Goodall Institute. The facility was initially established to receive and provide lifelong refuge to orphaned and abused chimpanzees from West and Central Africa. An initial group of 3 chimpanzees orphaned were brought to the sanctuary from the facility in Bujumbura, Burundi, that needed to be evacuated due to civil war. This was followed in 1995 by another group of 9 adult chimpanzees and another 10 in 1996. Over the last decade, Sweetwater's Chimpanzee Sanctuary has continued to accept chimpanzees rescued from traumatic situations, bringing the total number of chimpanzees in the sanctuary to over 43 by the time of this documentary. At the Sweetwater Sanctuary, chimpanzees are nursed back to health and enjoy the rest of their days in the safety of a vast natural enclosure. The chimpanzees live in 2 large groups separated by the Wasonyiro River. Other rare animals that can be found on Pejeta include the endangered African wild dog, oryx, Jackson's hartebeest, gravy zebra, savo, cheetah, and bat-eared fox. The more common African wildlife can be found too, including giraffes, vervet monkeys, baboons, hippos, impalas, elands, Grant's gazelle, dik-dik, plains zebras, silver-backed jackals, and hyenas. There are also over 300 bird species in the Conservancy. A visit to the Information Center introduces you to the mammal of Pejeta Conservancy, a museum where bones and skeletons of birds and animals are preserved for knowledge to all and sundry. All animals are free to move in and out of the Conservancy by way of specially constructed game corridors that only restrict the movement of rhinos. Knee-high posts in the ground, situated very close together, present no challenge for elephants, antelope, and carnivores who are easily able to jump or step over. Rhinos, however, are unable to do this, and as a result, they are restricted from moving into areas where they are in danger of being slaughtered for their horns. The best time to visit Pejeta is during the dry season, from June to September and January to February. The animals congregate around water sources, offering prime opportunities for wildlife enthusiasts to witness the majesty of the African savanna.
So here we are at the cemetery. Okay.
Exploring Pejeta, visitors can partake in thrilling safaris, tracking the Big Five, and more. Guided by expert rangers, you will gain insight into the Conservancy's vital conservation efforts, including its rhinos protection program and community outreach.
So ndo maana tunasema the rhino horn is keratin. So hiyo mdomo yake iko pointed, so that's why anaweza kukata miti kama hii. So this is the favorite food for the black rhinos. Their skin is so dry. Si hata sinatumia mafuta. So for them, wanaingia kwa matope, wanawalo, wanakava their skin, wanakula. After kuwalo, maybe atasikia kujikuna. So Kenya atafanya juu hana mikono, anajikwaruzanga na miti. So unaona hizi miti? Acacia trees. So these are acacia trees. So anajikwaruzanga na miti na ndo wanaenda kupata hizi vidonda. Then si wenye tumekuja mnaona hao the oxpeckers wenye wamefly away. So wanakujanga kupeck the infected areas wakitoa the maggots from the flies. So hiyo inaitwa symbiotic relationship. So wanapata food, yeye na yeye ana heal. So apati any form of infection. Sawa sawa. Okay. So rhino horn has something with the ears. Ni kama zimekatwa. So we do that for all our rhinos, like black rhinos venye nimewambia tuko na 167. So unaona ni kama wanafanana wote, huwezi jua huyu ni nani ama nani. So tunakatanga masikio, we call it ear notching for identity, so that we can be able to know who is who. Na wako na 3
While it is first and foremost a wildlife conservancy, Pejeta is also a profitable cattle ranch. By integrating the livestock with wildlife, the cattle can be used as ecological tool to manage the rangelands and heterogeneity and maximize biodiversity. The trampling effect and controlled grazing of cattle improve the quality of grass very quickly. Cattle are held overnight in mobile predator-proof sanctuaries, which then creates hotspot of nutrient-rich grass favored by herbivores. Cattle production also provides valuable additional revenue for the Conservancy. Pejeta Conservancy currently has 3 breeds of indigenous purebred cattle: the Ankole, Jidu or Serenely, and the Boran. It holds the largest single herd of pure Boran cattle in the world at 6,500 cows. A small proportion of the Conservancy has been set aside as a predator-free breeding center. There is also an abattoir on site. For those who seek to immerse themselves in the beauty of the Conservancy, Pejeta offers a range of accommodations from luxurious lodges to cozy campsites. Options like Sweetwater's Tented Camp, the new sanctuary Tambarare, the Stables, Pelican House, Pejeta Bush Camp, Rift Valley Adventure Camp, Sweetwater's Serena Camp, Porini Rhino Camp, Pejeta Safari Cottages, Kicheche Laikipia Camp, Mutara Camp, and private campsite provide a front row seat to the mesmerizing wildlife and landscapes. Pejeta remains a popular safari destination for both local residents and international visitors. Entry fees at the time of this documentary are as follows per person per day. Kenyan citizen rates range between 1,400 Kenya shillings and 2,000 Kenya shillings for adults, with child rates ranging between 700 shillings and 1,000 Kenya shillings. For the East African resident, the adult rate ranges between 2,600 Kenya shillings and 3,000 Kenya shillings, with the rate per child being between 1,300 and 1,500 Kenya shillings. Non-residents' rates are standard $90, with a non-resident child paying half of the adult rate. Vehicle rates are 600 Kenya shillings for up to 6 seats, 1,200 for vehicles between 7 and 14 seats, and Kenya shillings 5,000 per vehicle capacity of 15 and more seats. With this cashless system, you have an array of payment methods, including the popular M-Pesa payment method, Visa, bank transfer, and online payment. At the entrance, you have an exhibition of branded clothing and items to buy to support the dream of the Conservancy, ranging from t-shirts, capes, and hoodies to leather and beaded gifts and souvenirs. Your purchase will go a long way in helping to implement Pejeta's mission of delivering a substantial conservation impact. Additional fees apply to most Conservancy activities. These activities include visiting the endangered species enclosure, where the northern white rhinos are kept, visiting the chimpanzees sanctuary, lion tracking, night game drives, and guided bushwalks. Conservancy maps are available at the entrance gate for a fee. There is also a research facility where groups of individuals stay while studying flora and fauna on the Conservancy. In 2004, the ranch was purchased by the UK-based conservation organization Fauna and Flora International, with the financial backing of the Acres Foundation, a private international philanthropic organization founded by John Sticker. The land purchase was wholly funded by a whopping $15 million donation from the Acres Foundation, which worked in tandem with Fauna and Flora International and the Lewa Wildlife Conservancy to secure the 90,000 acres of open savanna grassland and convert it to National Land Trust. Old Pejeta ranching life started in the early 1940s with Lord Delamere, well known as one of the first and most influential British settlers in Kenya. Throughout the colonial era, Old Pejeta was very successful beef ranch, but it is just as well known for the larger-than-life characters that owned and managed it during that time. One infamous owner was Adnan Khashoggi, a billionaire Turkish Saudi Arabian arms dealer and businessman. By the late 1960s, poaching in Kenya by colonial hunters had taken a serious toll on wildlife population. Elephant and rhino numbers were plummeting, and although elephant hunting was declared illegal in Kenya in 1973, numbers continued to decline. This concerned one of Old Pejeta's previous owners, Lonho Africa, who established the Sweetwaters Game Reserve in 1988 as a sanctuary for black rhinos and other wildlife. Over time, the game reserve expanded to cover 90,000 acres. Now, Old Pejeta. Old Pejeta Conservancy, where history, wildlife, and conservation converge, invites you to witness a world where humans and animals coexist harmoniously, where hope prevails, and where the legacy of Sudan reminds us of the power of preservation. Come, be part of this extraordinary story and help write the next chapter in the ongoing saga of Old Pejeta's conservation journey.